it was Michael and Nadia, and the jingle. Here we go. And what have we just read? We carried on with Esther, and apparently Nadia has done some homework.
No, but it's
Nothing
not
like
about
putting her on the
Esther.
spot.
It's about the Corinthians.
Oh, about the Corinthians. Oh dear. Well, that's good. We'll come to that then.
Actually, I also wanted to. This is something I just noticed this morning, that the Church of England today remembers Elizabeth Farrard.
Right.
But it's also interesting that the Russian Orthodox Church today also remembers Elizabeth, who's the so-called the new martyr.
Oh, right.
She was the Grand Duchess, and sister of the last Russian Empress.
Okay.
And also, by the way, the granddaughter of Queen Victoria.
Right. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But she married somebody from the royal family, the Russian royal family, and she converted to Orthodoxy.
Right.
And then after her husband died, she became a nun, and she founded this convent, Martha and Mary Convent, which is still there.
Yes.
So
Okay.
But then, but after the revolution, she was brutally murdered by the Bolsheviks.
Right.
And on this day, so as far as
On this day.
yeah. So that's why the church, the Russian Orthodox Church, remembers her today.
How amazing coincidence.
Yeah, it is.
To Elizabeth.
Well,
when she was brutally murdered, she was one of the children. No, she's not.
She was thrown into this abandoned shop.
Yeah, she was murdered with all the Romanovs. No.
I mean, she wasn't alone, but so there were some other people also with her. But I mean, it was on a different date from the royal family.
Okay, right. So a gruesome, grisly ending. Gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing. So two Elizabeths
on the same day. Yeah,
amazing. One Russian Orthodox and one Anglican. That's worthy of a bit more investigation. That. But we're back to Esther. We carry on this amazing story, and it really is like a sort of a movie cliffhanger, isn't it? She's now, and I love the way. Do you remember we ended yesterday with sort of Mordecai basically saying, Esther, you've got to find yourself on the right side of history about this. Yeah. And if you remain silent, history will judge you. And she kind of ends up by saying, okay, well, I'm sort of damned if I do and damned if I don't. Yeah. And I kind of was thinking about that since yesterday, because they're saying, well, it's not actually you're blessed if you do and you're blessed if you don't as well. Sorry, is that right? It's more like you're blessed if you do, because basically, whichever way she does it. Hang on, what am I trying to say? She ends up with she's damned if she does, she's damned if she doesn't, because she's worried that she may basically lose if she does do nothing. But you're blessed if you do something, which may, of course, end up with a bad consequence. And then, despite all this nerves, she goes to see him, and he points her out, doesn't he? She doesn't even have to say, hello, excuse me, will you speak to me? Yeah. He actually points to her, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's pleased, so it says that
he's pleased.
He's pleased to see her, and he actually says that he will do everything she wants before she even asks.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that idea. It's like she's anticipating that everything's going to be like, he won't speak to me, and it's so worrying, and if I speak out of turn, I'll be put to death. And she gets there with all these worries, and he just points to Esther. You speak to me, I want to hear from you.
He says, whatever your request is, it shall be given you, even if it's half of the kingdom.
Yeah. And then she invites, is this right? And she invites them to dinner.
Yeah, so actually.
And then she invites them to a second dinner.
Yes.
Did I understand that?
Yes, that's true. So she has the first banquet, to which she invites him and this Haman who is plotting to exterminate the Jews. This Haman.
Haman,
But then she doesn't ask for anything during the first banquet, and then she says, just come tomorrow for the second banquet. So that's another cliffhanger, actually.
Exactly.
She has something in mind, obviously, but.
And I love the fact she said that at some point when she said she'd filled them with wine, and then she asked the question. Do you remember that? She said. So the king came to the banquet, Esther read. While they were drinking wine, the king says, what is your petition? It shall be granted. And I love the fact that I mean, Esther's clever. She's like, you know, makes lots of good wine, everyone's in a good mood, and then the questions and the requests start.
But the only thing that she says is just come for another banquet.
dinner.
Yeah, so she definitely has
A plan.
something, yeah.
It's a multiple dinner strategy. I like this.
Yes, that's...
But I'm also very struck by how Haman is such a sort of vain, boastful, unpleasant character.
Yeah, he's obsessed with Mordecai. So
yes.
Yeah.
And he's got all this stuff. He boasts to his family about all the things that he has.
Yeah. And still it doesn't make him happy. I think it's also so common. If you're not at peace with yourself and with other people, so nothing can make you happy.
They're recounting the splendour of his riches, the number of his sons, all the promotions. It's funny when I was reading this, I was thinking, gosh, I know several people like this.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's amazing. I really literally know people. You meet them and they just start
Yeah.
speaking about all the stuff they have.
Oh yes, that's also true.
It is amazing, and they sort of frankly become a bit boring about it. And he still dislikes Mordecai.
Yeah, so all those riches and all that success that he has, it doesn't make him happy. So he's still, the only thing he thinks of is how to.
And then he also seeks advice, doesn't he? And I love the fact that then his wife Zeresh and all his friends said to him, he's seeking advice, and I love the idea that he gets bad advice. He's surrounded by people that actually really are not good people. I mean, they're giving him terrible advice. And it's really interesting that, I think, is that how good people tend to get good people around them, and they create a sort of good team. And it happens the other way. Bad people tend to get bad people around them and get terrible advice. He builds. I mean, just the.
Yeah, this very high gallows.
I mean, without even the king, he just sort of takes matters into his own hands.
Yeah.
And if I'm right in saying, when Haman will be executed on this. I think I know. I shouldn't.
This was a spoiler.
A spoiler. I don't know. Okay, it is so exciting. Yeah.
Yes, it is. So it's even more of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, exactly. Cliffhanger every day. There we go. Who ever said the Bible wasn't exciting?
It's already 7 minutes.
Oh my goodness, we've got to stop. Okay, so you're going to talk about Corinthians.
Actually, so here again, there's a reference to two letters, because here in this letter in 2 Corinthians, there are references to the so-called letter of tears and also letter of reconciliation.
Right.
The letter of tears, Paul wrote them because he wasn't happy with them, because apparently there were some false prophets, false apostles, false teaching, and they challenged Paul's apostleship. So that's why some of 2 Corinthians is this letter of tears. But here also some parts are the so-called letter of reconciliation. So when after he sends his helper Titus there to Corinth, because he himself is writing from Macedonia, things get better, and then that's what he writes. So I'm happy with you. I'm proud of you. So here we have elements of both. Nice.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. So this is.
I love this whole idea about causing grief, but it says, I see that I grieved you, and I regret that, although actually I don't regret it. I love that. I love that sort of thing. He said, I made you sorry. He says, I do not regret it. I do not regret it, but he says, well, actually I kind of do regret it, but
it was for the better.
But it was for the better. It was actually really interesting.
Yeah, that's really
amazing.
That's a really interesting idea.
Anyway, great. We've been talking for almost 9 minutes, but fascinating stuff. And Mordecai is such a great story. Great. Good to chat to you all. And we'll be back tomorrow. Right. Bye.
Have a good day.
Have a great day.